Do you see anything unusual about this stamp? This stamp was issued by Lebanon in 1974, and it's part of a series titled 11th Arab Scout Jamboree. It's a little bit difficult to tell at this angle, but stick around and let's zoom in a bit more and see if we can identify any curiosities, irregularities, or even errors in this stamp. Stay tuned. All right, so let's take a closer look. I zoomed in as much as I could, and I know that this still is a little bit difficult to see, but let's try together to identify, spot any irregularities or curiosities or even errors on this map. And if we start looking at the top left, we can see the denomination, 750p, piastre. There's nothing unusual there. That's also in Arabic on the top right. If we look at the top center, we can see written in French the series title, which is the 11 Scout Arab Jamboree, issued in 1974. There's nothing unusual about that. You can see the country, the name that was issued, Lebanon, appearing at the bottom in English or French, also in Arabic. In the bottom right, you can see the cedar of Lebanon, the flag, country emblem is here. And then we have a map. And again, the series, the title is a map of Arab countries, according to the Stanley Gibbons catalog. So that's going to suggest that these are Arab countries that are portrayed on the map. And if we start westward, we can see Mauritania. There's Morocco in green. There next to Morocco is Algeria. Here you have Tunisia, Libya shaded in yellow, Egypt shaded in green, and you can see that Egypt also, of course, includes the Sinai Peninsula up here in the northeast corner, even though when this stamp was issued in 1974, Egypt was under Israeli military control. There's nothing inherently unusual about that because Lebanon, being an Arab country, a member of the League of Arab States, did not and still continues to not recognize Israel, recognizing that the Sinai is an integral part of the Egyptian motherland. So there's nothing unusual about that. And if you see right here, this tiny green would be Lebanon. Next to that, shaded in like a yellowish, orangish color, would be Syria. And then to the east, you have Iraq, Saudi Arabia below, shaded. So where it gets really interesting is this pinkish coloration here. And I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but right here in pink, in between where Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt is, appears to be, well, it's not Israel, because again, Lebanon does not recognize Israel. Israel is not an Arab country, even though Israel comprises today land west of the Jordan River, Israel proper, of course. There's also the West Bank, there's the Gaza Strip, which are territories that the Palestinians claim. But this geographical region consists of territory on both banks of the Jordan River. And that would comprise what is now the state of Israel, the West Bank and Gaza, but also the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan. So if we assume that this is not a map of Israel, and I, of course, don't believe that it would be for the reasons I mentioned, could it be a map of the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan? Well, probably not. There's really little evidence in Lebanon's history, Lebanon's foreign policy, which would suggest that Lebanon considered that the territory during this time on both banks of the Jordan River constituted a Hashemite kingdom of Jordan, or a greater Jordan, if you will. Jordan, as most Arab countries recognized at this time, even those Arab countries sympathetic to the Hashemite monarchy would have only comprised territory east of the Jordan River, with the possibility of on maps showing the West Bank, which Jordan controlled from 1948 to 1967. Even after losing the West Bank to Israel in the 1967 war, Jordan still asserted sovereignty claims over the West Bank. So it was not uncommon in Jordanian philately, in Jordanian stamps, to distinguish maps of Jordan and Palestine by outlining the West Bank as being a part of both Jordan, and in other times showing it as a part of Palestine. So there's really not a lot of evidence to suggest that this could be part of Jordan, this color shaded here in pink, that this map would be a map of Jordan. The most likely explanation would be that this is a map of Palestine. Palestine, a greater Palestine, if you like. Palestine as it existed for a brief period of time during the original British Mandate of Palestine in 1920, when the territory consisted of both banks of the Jordan River. It's still not very compelling, because if you take that explanation, which is probably the most likely explanation out of whether it's Israel, Jordan, or Palestine, because what else could it be? If you say it's Palestine, then that implies that it has swallowed up and consumed the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan. Jordan is not on the map, and Jordan is an Arab country, but there's no markers, there's no boundaries distinguishing Jordan from Palestine on this map. It just shows a region comprising both banks of the Jordan River without Israel and without Jordan. Very interesting. I've never seen a Lebanon stamp that has a map that shows both Jordan and Palestine as it existed under the original British Mandate in 1920. I'm not surprised that Israel, once again, is not shown. There's nothing to be shocked about that, because Arab countries on their stamps never portrayed Israel, and really to this day they typically don't, even those that have normalized relations with Israel. But to not show Jordan, that's quite interesting. So I'm thinking that if this is a map of Arab countries, that region shaded in pink would suggest that this is a map of Palestine or Greater Palestine. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel and you find this content useful, please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. That really helps grow the channel. And as always, until next time, happy stamping.